So is the advantage playing something that's worthwhile? And it certainly depends on what you're trying to get out of it. If you've been playing, say like blackjack or other games that we will work on here, it most certainly is worth doing advantage play, because there's no way on earth you could win at a casino on a long-term basis. Yes, you will have some wins, but in the long run, you'll have to lose. There's just no way out of it. So, as an advantage player, there are people that make a living at it, and some people have made fortunes. So we know that it works, even though uh, some players go broke during the initial stages of it. It's like anything else, and you have to really get good at it, and it could take a while to get good at it. Some people, and everyone's different. Some people catch on quickly. Some people, it might take them 6 months or maybe a year sometimes. But once they start to develop their bankroll to high amounts, maybe over 20, 30, 50,000, then it's hard to go broke, because even though there are a lot of people that have reported to with a bankroll of $500,000 $1 million, and those people have lost 50,000 in one night, but that's a very small portion of their bankroll, because you usually, when you get to that advanced level, then you're probably going to use some sort of a betting software that tells you how much you should be betting, what your chances of ruin are. So you're not just like sitting there just risking your entire bankroll one night. Usually, the risk of your bankroll in one night or one setting is usually very small. It could be as low as 1% of your bankroll. And if it's a really risky thing that you're trying to do, you suddenly want to go out and make thousands and thousands in one night, you might lose, maybe 5% of your bankroll. And so if you lose 5%, that's a huge amount. So let's say if you have 100,000 and you lose 5,000 in one night, that's a significant amount, and it makes you automatically think about doing it again, right? So you're not going to go keep doing it every night. So it sets you back a little bit. So it's nearly impossible. Once you build a decent bankroll, it's nearly impossible to go broke, unless, I don't know, you'd have to be the first time in history. But initial stages, yes, because most people start with small amounts of investment. A lot of advantage players start with 2 or 3,000, and of course you can lose that in one couple of nights. It's very easy to do that. So if a person is just basically used to be a gambler, they just go in there and just like everybody else, just depend on luck, then becoming an advantage player is going to make a huge difference, because now, instead of losing at the end of the year, when they figure how much they've played, how much they've invested, instead of losing all that way, now they're making money, and maybe even have it as a side income. If a person is trying to depend on casinos to make a living, it most certainly is worth it, because again, that's their only source of income, and I guess the main thing for a lot of people is being independent, because some people are lucky and they can get a job and just do really good, but most people don't do very well. I mean, that's why they have all these things about people hating their jobs, and if you could go to casinos and sit there and have fun and make money. I mean, who doesn't want to do that? You're basically independent. I guess you could call it freedom. It's almost a form of financial freedom. Anytime you need money, you just go to the casino for a couple of hours and go home with a couple of thousand. So of course, it's going to take time to get to that level. That's not going to happen. Some people, they're just really brilliant, and they can catch up and they can start making thousands every week. But most people, they're not going to be that way. It's going to take most people a few months to get to that level. So it's most certainly worth it if you can gain financial freedom and wouldn't have to depend on the struggles that everybody goes through to pay the bills and basically just live. And then there is the challenge of it is worthwhile because you're doing something that nobody else can do. You're the only person in that casino that can beat the games that you play. Of course, you're going to see, sometimes you walk over to the craps table and you see some regulars that come in on there all the time, and they have just racks and racks of green chips. So that's probably worth about $3,000-$4,000 they made that night. But then you'll see that those same people come in at the following time and they lose that entire rack. So they're just gamblers, that's all. And they probably have a nice income coming in, and they just go in there. That's just their form. It's just a form of addiction. Why would you want to go? I mean, that's an expensive. You can get nice video games, or you can just get a crap table at home, invite friends, and have fun. Why would you go and lose $3,000 in one night? That's just crazy. And then go and do it again and again and again. But it's either addiction or some people are just so wealthy they don't care. They go to a casino and drop $10,000. They don't care. So but I can assure you that there's not a single person that I've run into that would rather lose than go in there and win. So most certainly, all those people that come in with tons of money in their pockets and empty out their pockets, they just wish they could win, but they just can't because they're not advantaged players. And so the challenge of it is fun, is worthwhile, and it is sort of a glamorous life because most casinos nowadays, especially, have remodeled and they're flashy, and and you're going in there like a big shot and you're throwing money, thousands, hundreds, whatever, and at the end of the night, everybody else loses and you're the only one that wins. So it's got to be a good feeling, And in the process, as I said, the way we do it, you get a lot of respect, and I think that's the biggest advantage. Because I was used to be a card counter, and I just hated the way I was treated. And it's just such a horrible feeling when people give you these looks, they're dirty looks, and they just watching you and going around, sneaking around, and what kind of life is that? It's a horrible life, But ever since we started this system that we're doing, it's just, I can't tell you how, the feeling that you get. You feel so welcome to walk in the casino, and it's just so nice. They're so happy to see you, where they used to hate to see you, So, all around, it's just really worth it. But more than anything else, it's probably the financial freedom and the challenge. It is still, none of us are mathematicians, but it's still a very, very intricate skill. So it's not so much the money that is satisfying, but the fact that you are doing something, a skill that nobody else can do, and you're beating a gaming system that's known to be impossible to beat. So nobody can tell me there's no satisfaction. That's it's just obvious. And there are probably other reasons. Other types of satisfaction for doing it. Some people like the hours because depending on what you do, you don't need to be in the casino like a job where you're gonna work 8 to 12 hours a day. Once you get really good at it, you're only going to be there for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, and the time just flies. When you're in a casino, that's why they don't. It's probably because they don't have clocks and nobody, but it really flies. And next you know, you've got a bunch of money and you can go home if you want. They also do have excellent food. So most of us, when we worked in whatever industry we worked, you had to eat lunch, right? Or sometimes even breakfast. Sometimes you have to eat 3 times a day when you go to work because you're working long hours. And to get decent food consistently is hard. Most places, but casino you can. It's hard to find junk food. Most casinos have really good food, but you just got to choose the healthy stuff. And the environment is fun because people usually are having fun, and you have the most fun because you're winning. So, and it's live. It's a live situation. But overall, it's definitely worth it because it's mainly for a person that's already going to casinos. And if they're going to casinos, you can be guaranteed that they're losing money. You cannot make money going to casino and just playing basic strategy. You're just going to lose. That's all you're going to do. So by becoming an advantage player and training, of course, because the main reason people go is to win, right? And how many people enjoy losing? Nobody enjoys it. So even if it's not the money, then the fact of losing is destructive. So if they're winning, it's a win-win situation. So thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.